Deputy Mejia, make sure he's not passed around in the back. All right, court is calling 2024 CR 00923 State of Texas versus Thomas Henson. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Andrew Harris, Edelman.
Defense?
Attorney Albert Oswald for Mr. Henson.
Are you Mr. Henson?
Yes, ma'am.
You entered a plea of no contest on September 12th to the offense of evading arrest detention with a vehicle. According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is recommending community supervision. This is the run concurrent with 2022 CR 5859. State is taking in consideration 2024 PF 06107, 2024 PF 06357, and the state is silent on your application for deferred adjudication. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
None from the state, Your Honor.
No objections, Your Honor.
Any witnesses from the state?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, call your first witness.
I'd like to call Denise Torres.
Testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Denise Torres.
All right, there's no need to be nervous. Let me just tell you, my job is to listen to whatever evidence that's being presented to me and make a decision on whether or not to, there are two things that I'm doing here today. One, seeing whether or not I'm going to follow this plea bargain agreement that they have reached. And two, whether or not I'm going to continue him on deferred adjudication or whether or not I'm going to revoke him. So I'm just trying to get information. All right. Make sure you keep your voice up so that the court reporter can hear and so that I can hear. All right, defense.
Ms. Torres, what's your relationship with Mr. Henson?
I'm his mother.
Okay. And we've kind of spoken about his mental health and substance problems. Is that correct?
Yes, we have.
And can you just provide the court with a little additional information? When did you start having problems with Mr. Henson in regards to his mental health issues?
I would say we noticed his mental health issues when he was about 12 years old.
And during that period, were you able to get him treated at all?
He's been in and out of different rehabs in San Antonio. We've tried different medications and we've continued it all the way till he was about 16.
And during this period, was he also having trouble in school?
He was having trouble in school as far as peer pressures and falling into the wrong crowd.
All right, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
When you
ma'am.
speak, if you could turn towards the court reporter
Yes.
and counsel, if you want to stand over there and ask her a question that way, so it won't seem so awkward for you, you can do so.
I guess let me rephrase and ask the question again. I know he was seeing mental health providers or counseling at that time,
Yes.
but in conjunction, was he having trouble using substances?
Yes.
And when was the onset that you first discovered that he was using drugs?
I would say for me personally, I truly realized it when he was about in the 7th grade. So that's 12, 13 years old.
And as a result of that, did he stop going to school?
Yes, eventually he did stop going to school. He dropped out. I took him, I have moved him from school to school to school to try to get him away from the crowds, try to encouragement, give him different environments while still being treated by both psychiatrists and psychologists on regular meetings and medication.
And at that point, would you say that you lost control? You had no control over his decisions?
I would say by the time he turned 16, I got to the point where I felt like I had no control anymore.
And then he moved out of your house?
He did move out. He moved out of my house at the time of the incident was because I noticed he was supposed to be at work. He quit coming home from work, so I was trying to track him down, and that's when I realized he was out with his friends again. So it's at 16.
Okay. And when he moved out, do you know where his whereabouts was at that time?
I would say for about a year, no. I did not know where he was at for about a year, so I know at that point for sure he was not taking any medication.
And do you believe he was using drugs at that time still?
Absolutely.
And my understanding is at some point, he would live with your mom as well, right?
Yes, he would go over there.
And does she live close to you?
She lives 2 houses down. We live on the same street.
Okay. And during that period, do you believe that, or was he getting any treatment as far as his mental health issues?
I don't think so. I know that when he left my house, he did take his medication. I gave it all to him. But then at that point, I don't think he was taking his medication, even though I would provide it. I would fill his prescriptions. I would give them to my mom, but I don't know if it was the environment. It was just really hard for her to literally give them to him and make them take it.
Just a moment. Let me wait till they finish talking over
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
All right, you may continue.
And has Thomas ever received any substance treatment at all?
For substance abuse, not that I know of. No, I have always tried to treat him for mental, for just helping with whether it was ADHD or his bipolar depression. It was depression at the time. Sorry.
And do you believe him not taking medication for those mental health issues? As a result of that, he was self-medicating
Yes,
and using drugs?
yes, I think that's what he was.
You understand what we're here for today, correct?
Yes, I do.
And what are you asking the court to consider as she hears this testimony?
I asked that from the beginning. I wanted to have help for his drug addiction. And I wanted him to find. For me, I always thought it was the depression, anxiety. I suffer from anxiety, but he doesn't need the illegal drugs. He doesn't need to be taking all of these pills and things to cope and get through day by day and realize that his life is important.
And do you think
I
it's
want him to
something,
have.
do you think this is something that it would benefit him from receiving this help in custody? So that he doesn't have any access to these illegal substances?
As much as I miss him, as much as I want. I know it's best for him to get the treatment in custody versus.
And do you believe these charges that he's picked up in the last few years are as a result of his substance abuse?
I know they have, and they have with every single one. I've seen him, been around him, when he's arrested. I'm always the first phone call. And I'm the one that has to tell the officers that he's probably on something, he's incoherent, and he's ended up in the hospital every single time, almost overdose.
Is there anything else that you want the judge to know about your son?
He's my son, and I love him so much. He is a good kid, and I know we all say that. He truly is. When he's sober. And when he's not sober, he won't come around me because he knows I could see through him. And when I see him and he's under the influence, and it scares me because it's not him. It's not him doing these things or actions.
And just for a brief second, I want to touch on the motion to revoke probation. This is sentencing. This first part is sentencing for the new case. But the underlying probation case, the ag assault, the complainant, my understanding is your husband, right?
Yes, it is.
And that he's supposed to have a no contact order with him, right?
Correct.
And is it true that your husband wanted to be here today?
He did want to be here today. He was scared to come. He didn't want to make everybody nervous.
Oh, he can appear by Zoom.
I told him that he's available.
Oh, yeah.
We may be able to accommodate that, Judge. But just as far as that, my understanding is, he wants your son to get that same help, correct?
Yes, he does. Ever since the beginning from their charge, whenever the DA would call, he would tell them, I don't want to press charges. It wasn't him. We want him to have help. Ever since the beginning, we've said we just want him to have help with the drug problems.
Okay.
And no matter how many we have to put him in, they let him out.
And just kind of to update the board to give him a refresher. When he got out of ISF, because he did go to ISF, is that correct?
Yes, he did.
And it was just for the cognitive track?
Correct.
Y'all did reapproach the judge and ask her to see about amending that condition, right?
Yes, we did, because we want him in the house because it's together we can work and give him that environment and the support that he needs. And at the same time, I know he would. It's harder for him to break those rules.
And do you recall at that time that he tested positive for marijuana?
I do.
And then the judge subsequently had him UAing and eventually hopefully getting clean before he
Correct.
made that decision?
Correct. He was supposed to have 30 days.
Okay. And at that point, he had kind of fallen back to that same issue, using drugs again, right?
Yes.
Again, we're telling the court at this point that you believe it's in the best interest of him if given an opportunity to get treatment in custody, correct?
Yes.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Any questions?
Just one. If the court offers your son the help that you want him to get, what makes you think that he'll take advantage of it?
Because I know he wants it after incidences, when I try to talk to him about what happened, or if he remembers, there's times he doesn't, there's times it's flashbacks. And he knows and it's accepted that he does have a problem. And I just want to help get him to get that support. And I know if he goes into a treatment, then he's gonna have that, the support, the ways, the avenues, and he's gonna be sober. And he's gonna start realizing.
I don't have any more questions, Your Honor.
All right. How old is your son?
My son is 20.
All right. So here's the thing. I appreciate your coming in to testify, but whatever decision that I make, it's not your fault because he's an adult. And decisions I make are based upon evidence that I hear, and there are consequences for actions. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much for coming down. Any other witnesses?
I'd just like to call one other witness, Judge.
Sure.
Michael Mirchuk.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Michael Mirchuk,
All right, defense.
Mr. Mirchuk, what's your relationship with Mr. Henson?
grandfather.
And has Mr. Henson ever lived with you?
Yes, he has.
During what period did he start living with you?
He started living with us when he was 3 months old, all the way up until really now. We've been incarcerated for jail and whatnot. He's been in and out living with us for 20 years.
And during this period that he's lived with you on and off, did you notice any problems that he was having?
Oh, yeah, he said up until he was like 12 years old, 13 years old, he's a great kid. I mean, he's got a black belt in karate or taekwondo. We worked with him to get him the best help, and we're grandparents. We spoiled him. We made sure and tried to get him everything he wanted. And then he just changed, I guess you could say, a little bit, from being, you wanted to be more than a kid to and get to do the things, teenager would do, which was the wrong things at the time. Because we didn't, me and his grandmother didn't know some of those things that he was doing outside. I mean, we were grandparents. We just were there for him. So come to find out that the wrong people he was doing things with and whatnot, we found all these things out after the fact.
Well, and let me ask this. I know you said you found after the fact. Did you ever experience his, any problems with him while he was at your house as far as drug abuse?
We didn't even know he was taking drugs in our house if we wouldn't allow it. Everything he did was outside of our house. If anything was ever found in our house, it was found by his mother going through his, he had his own room and whatnot, but us, we just thought he was a good kid. You know, he's doing the things that he was supposed to do.
You're always there to provide a bed for him, correct?
Yes,
And do you believe, just knowing a little bit more about, you know, the issues that he was going through, is that he needs drug help?
yes, he needs help, both mentally and drug wise.
And then, you know, the same thing I had asked your daughter, you believe it's in his best interest to get that help in custody?
Yes,
Just so that he doesn't have any of those things around him.
that's correct.
I know she also mentioned that he stopped going to school around seventh grade. Did you try to encourage him during that period?
Oh, we tried, I mean, my wife and I would take him to school to make sure he got there. I mean, we'd pick him up and take him, and we thought he was going to school and doing the things he was supposed to. Instead, we, you know, come to find out that skipping, and I guess he's going with his buddies, doing the drugs thing and anything else he probably wasn't supposed to be doing.
And why do you think, you know, he deserves an opportunity to get that type of treatment while being on probation, since he's messed up?
We just know he's a very good kid, and he just needs help. He's he might be an adult right now, but he's still a kid, really at heart. And I guess he just needs to grow up and learn that his actions were wrong, everything he's done, and try to find a way to become an adult. And hopefully with help, he can do that.
Is there anything else you want to tell the judge?
Just that I hope that you help him favorably, and that since he does need help, I know he is an adult now, but a lot of the stuff that he did do, he was a kid prior to that. Maybe he should have gotten help, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, instead of, you know, waiting until now, unfortunately, through all the trouble he did get himself into. And we're just praying and hoping that you'll do that for him.
And just one other thing, your wife Laura is also here in the audience, correct?
She is.
Absolutely. Sure.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you.
Judge, no other witnesses, just Mr. Henson.
Okay. Mr. Henson? You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Thomas Henson.
All right, make sure you keep your voice up. So other than getting more tattoos and picking up a new offense, what have you done on probation? All right, he's done nothing on probation. What am I supposed to do with that?
All right, proceed, Your Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Henson, we've gone over the TAP evaluation and also the MTR, is that correct?
Yes.
And you've taken responsibility for your actions, correct?
Yes.
You waived indictment and took a plea in the evading, correct?
Yes.
You understand that there were certain conditions that were required of you while on probation, right?
Yes.
At some point, the judge ordered ISF cognitive treatment. Did you complete that?
Yes.
And did you receive any benefit from going to that?
Other than it being like a sanction, not really.
I mean, when you say not really, why was it not a benefit to you?
I wasn't really taking it serious at the time. It was more of like I felt like a punishment, like a sanction. Went from home, and I probably could have made more of it, but I didn't.
And during that period, did you receive any substance treatment in conjunction with it?
No.
When you say you didn't take it serious, can you explain to the court, you know, as we apply for probation and ask for inpatient services for substance treatment, why you would take it serious now?
Yeah, I'm tired of being a disappointment. I want to show my mom that, because they're being so supportive of me, I don't want to let them down. I want to do everything right for them, instead of thinking about being selfish and thinking about myself.
And you understand only you can treat yourself during this part. It's not up to them, it's up to you, right?
Right.
And that if the judge gives you an opportunity by ordering these services, that she's essentially giving someone else's chance to you. And you telling her that you didn't take it serious the first time is a problem, right?
Right.
What kind of drugs have you used?
Opiates, amphetamines, annex, weed.
And every single time you've committed offense, have you been under the influence?
Yes, sir.
And have you ever tried to kick these addictions?
Multiple times I've tried but not wanted to. If that makes sense.
Okay. And do you think you would benefit from going inpatient to receive this treatment?
Yes.
And are you motivated to get this treatment?
Yes, I'm motivated.
What are some of the things that you would do while in custody getting this treatment to be successful to remain sober?
Make a plan so whenever I get out, I can stay sober and complete probation. If I could just stay sober, I don't see myself having any troubles completing my probation.
And do you have any goals in life?
Yes.
And what are those goals?
I want to go to cosmetology school and so I could do hair and nails, become a barber.
And you stopped going to school at in 7th grade, give or take. Did you ever try to complete your GED?
Yeah, I enrolled in some classes, but I never ended up making it to them.
While you've been in custody, have you made any efforts to try to get enrolled in the GED program?
I'm on the waiting list right now.
Okay, so you've actually signed up for it?
Right.
You understand right now, you're asking the court for, I'd say, a 4th opportunity, 5th opportunity, right?
Right.
That prior to this, when you came forward on that MTR and they denied that MTR and continued you, she gave you an opportunity then. Is there a reason that you didn't express that you needed drug treatment at that point?
No, at that point, I just wanted to go home. I just wanted to go home.
And at this point, you realize that you can't do it on your own, right?
Right.
And that in order to be successful, though, if the court allows and gives you a structured environment, you're telling the court that you can be successful?
Yes.
What type of work have you done in the past?
Car washes, fast food.
And when's the last time that you were employed?
Probably 2 months prior to July,
What were you doing then?
a car wash.
And then you stopped working
Yes, after I relapsed, I stopped showing up.
and you turned back to drugs
Yes.
and you were involved in this offense?
Right.
You understand how serious it is to evade?
Yes.
You understand that you're putting people in danger,
Yes.
not just yourself? That it's a selfish decision?
Yes.
And are you acknowledging that you make that mistake today?
Yes.
And you're asking the court, are you begging to her that you want this treatment?
Yes. I want the treatment. I want to do. I'm motivated now to do it for real this time.
Is there anything else you want her to consider? But you're asking her to put you on deferred adjudication probation? And you're asking for substance treatment?
Yes.
That's what it's wrong.
State, any questions?
No question, but I do have some observations, if you'll allow me.
Yes.
Mr. Acevedo allowed me to speak with Mr. Henson, and in speaking with Mr. Henson, I observed that he expressed more than mere self-pity over the situation in which he's gotten himself into. He expressed regret for the negative consequences that his actions had on other people, not just the victim in this offense, but also for his family. He did not blame other people for his own actions, and he recognized that his actions are caused, perhaps caused is not the right word, but are an extension of a substance use disorder. I respected his honesty. I don't respect the crimes that he's committed, but I do respect his honesty. And the state's agreement is an effort to thread the needle between holding him accountable for his poor choices and trying to help him get the help that he needs and that he recognizes that he needs. That's all.
All right, what have you done on probation since 2022? Because you were placed on probation September 15th, 2022. I placed you on 4 years deferred adjudication. There were cases that were taken in consideration. I ordered 240 hours of community service restitution. Have you, and I said I would waive that if you obtain your GED. Have you obtained your GED? So since 2022, have you worked on obtaining your GED? I'm sorry.
No, ma'am.
All right. I ordered that you provide proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care or with minors. Did you provide proof of employment with probation?
To a certain amount of time until I lost my job.
All right. You didn't lose your job. You quit or you were fired. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So were you fired
Yes,
or
ma'am.
did you quit?
I stopped showing up.
All right. So don't make it seem as though you were doing your job and somehow magically you lost your job. That was not the case. You decided to get high, like the rap song says, you know, I was going to get my GED, but I decided to get high. You need to listen to that rap song because everything they were supposed to do, they didn't do because they wanted to get high. So the anger control course, anger aggression control course, did you take that?
No, ma'am.
All right. I ordered you to do that. You haven't done that since 2022. There was a 10 p.m. curfew I ordered. So did you abide by your curfew?
No.
All right. You're supposed to reside with your grandparents. Did you up and leave your grandparents and not reside with them any longer? All right. You were not supposed to have any contact with your stepfather. Did you have contact with him? Did you have contact with your stepfather?
Yeah.
All right. So why are you telling me no?
Well, it wasn't like I was every day, you know what I mean? It was just,
And when you had contact with him, did you cause confusion and destruction of property?
yes, ma'am.
All right. There's supposed to be regular UAs for people to test you for drugs. Did you do that? All right. You were supposed to regularly report by Zoom or in person. Did you do that?
No.
All right. So then what ends up happening, there was a hearing said it was supposed to be contested. And between those two cases, we had compliance hearings where I've asked him if he had any issues. And then October 23rd, 2023, there's a new number 1 and you pled true. And the state waived other violations. I denied the motion and I altered amended conditions to have no contact with the complainant. In 2023, after I told you were not to have contact with the complainant, did you continue to have contact? All right. And did you cause destruction of property?
Yes.
All right. So then I ordered state ISF. And the reason why state ISF cognitive was ordered, because obviously there was something wrong with his thought processes. Did you take advantage and learn anything from that?
No, ma'am.
Right. Then I wanted to do GPS and I gave him partial for work until further notice. And he was to reside at his grandmother's home. Did you reside at your grandmother's home? And then we come back because this is where the drug use comes in, because he came in and he tested positive for marijuana. So on April 11th, I ordered 90 sober meetings in 90 days. And this probation was to do testing and test you for levels. Did you do those 90 sober meetings?
I didn't.
Did you do even one?
No.
Right. And did you allow probation to test you? Okay. And then we came back on August 22nd, 2024, because the state was going to complete with the speak the complainant. And then on September 12th, there was a plea to a violation of condition number 1. So what we're here for is, why should I even continue him on probation? Why shouldn't he go to prison? It appears that he doesn't want to do anything. It appears to the court that you don't want to be on probation. You rather get high. You rather cause devastation and destruction with your parents, because you haven't done anything on probation other than get new tattoos. And some of those appear to be gang tattoos. That's all you've done. So other than get gang tattoos and get your face tatted, which I tell people, unless you're moving towards a specific occupation, you really shouldn't be doing the face tattoos because it makes it hard for employment. So other than the gang tattoos and the piercings and the dollar sign, which you're not working. So I don't know if that's an aspiration or gang stuff. So other than the gang tattoos and the more piercings, what have you done that would make me think you would be successful on probation in this court?
Nothing, Your Honor.
So why should I even give you probation? Because all you've done is cause destruction. The car you were riding in for the evading was a stolen vehicle. That's why they were trying to pull you over. The complainant you were in the passenger you were with, they got out, took off running as you did. So you haven't done anything. All you're coming to me is with your hands open, with the state saying, and your counsel saying, well, I think he's internalized this time. You brought me nothing as a reason for why I should continue you. You had all the opportunity and you've done nothing. And I think probation wants you revoked. And on the aggravated assault, you're looking at 20 years in the prison. And it appears that you want to go to prison because that's what your actions are telling me. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We can go off the record. So it appears that you want to go to prison and be passed around for cigarettes or dessert, because that's what's going to happen to you. Because you're young and they will think you're attractive at the prison. And I'm just being real with you. You understand? And no matter commissary money that your parents and your grandparents can put on the books for you is going to save you from being passed around at the prison. You understand? And do you understand what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to be passed around for Roman noodle? Because that's what's going to happen. No, I'm dead serious. And that's what happened at the Bexar County Jail. People will get passed around for dessert. Someone was sentenced to this in this court for murder. And the first thing he did at the Bexar County Jail was go have sex with somebody. Whether it was consensual or not, that case hasn't been brought to me. And I can tell you right now, your grandparents, your mother probably doesn't have enough money to put on your books so you won't be passed around for Roman noodles, cigarettes, oranges, or whatever at the jail. And it appears to the court that that's what you want to happen to you. Doing all these little crazy little tattoos you got here, trying to be Billy Bad with gang tattoos and everything. Do you understand? All right, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to think about this. You can come back in the afternoon. All right, thank you. Deputy Mejia, make sure he's not passed around in the back.
Let's get the facts straight. She loves a verbal ashtray. Never blowing smoke when she gets pissed. She's quick to castrate. Love her on a good day, love her on a bad day. Either way, she's here to stay.